Hello friends, how's it going? Good to see you today. Thanks for joining me on my little adventure. It's that time again for another episode of the Moto Social Austin. So I'm heading there now. Again, I never remember the names of these places. So I'll put it on the screen now. But I'm taking the really long way there. This time the Moto Social is about 20 minutes from my house. But the route I have chosen is an hour and 10 minutes. And that's so I can go through areas like this. I will catch up with you when I get there, but in the meantime, I'll just show you through kind of hyper speed some of these roads. All right, I'm here walking around. This is pretty cool, a lot of bikes. And earlier today I was at the grocery store. I met this girl and she had a helmet in her hand. I said, wow, what do you ride? And she told me. And I said, do you come into, or do you go to Moto Social? And she's like, yeah, I think so, I'm not sure. But she showed up, so I'm gonna interview her. She got a cool Harley with a Springer front end. So I'm just gonna walk around now and just film a little bit of bikes and interview a few people. So stick with me. All right, friends, we're here with a new friend, Eric. Eric, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
I just saw Eric pull in on this very interesting, beautiful bike. Woo, Norton. Whoop, I'm gonna get hit by a truck.
Yeah.
So Eric, tell us about this bike. What years and all that good stuff.
It's a 1972 Norton Commando 750. It's pretty far off stock, actually, right at the moment. It had been run on the Isle of Man during the time trial races way back in the day. And made its way into the United States in the early 70s. One of the founders of Discover Card got his hands on it. He was a motorcycle collector. And probably 4 or 5 years ago, he'd reached an age where he wasn't riding much, and his wife said, you know, get these bikes out of here. And he started with ones that were the most squirrely. And this one, gear shift is on the right, brake is on the left. It's got a couple of weird things that, you know, are non-standard that take a little getting used to, and it was one of the first ones on the auction block when he needed to get rid of these things. I've done a bunch of modification to it since I got it, mostly because it came with the old style British positive earth electrical system, and I wanted to put LED headlights, taillights, and all that good stuff in it, and wanted to redo the turn signal mechanisms and everything else. So I wound up redoing it as a negative ground bike, totally rewiring it. It's been upgraded to a hydraulic clutch, Brembo front brakes, and make it a lot more rideable. But it's a sweet little thing. Every place I go, somebody looks at it and says, "Gee, I haven't ever seen one of those," or "Haven't seen one in 50 years." It's got the 750cc engine. They punched that out to 850 in about 73. So this is a 72. It's one of the last of the 750s. And the two bikes, I've ridden them both. They have very different character. By the time they were an 850, they added a lot of stuff to the bike. It became a much heavier touring bike. This is the earlier sport bike, and basically what happened was in between 72 and 73, the Japanese had come in with the cookie cutter 4s, the Honda CBFs, and these bikes just couldn't compete as super bikes anymore. They're based on a 1949 vintage engine design that was originally 500 cc's and 35 horsepower, and they pushed them as far as they could, and then finally just had to say, "Uncle, we'll turn it into a touring bike."
How about these handlebars? These are obviously not stock, but
yeah.
But what bars came with this bike stock?
There were a couple of variants. They had 3 very popular bikes in the era. When it first came out, it was a fastback, and it had all sorts of fancy styling in terms of fiberglass and fairings and all that on the back of the bike. It was very futuristic, and it was more than the motorcycling public in the late 60s wanted at the time. That bike had pretty much a flat handlebar. They phased out the fastback over the next few years for what they called the Roadster, and this began life actually as a Roadster. It's set up as a cafe racer now. But again, the flat handlebars, stock on a Roadster. This one, because it was a race bike at one point in its life, was set up with the clip-on drop handlebars.
How do you find it riding it comfort-wise? Can you go for a couple hours?
I could, but it'd be a workout.
Yeah.
It's the old adage, the more you want to feel of the road, the more the road wants to feel of you.
Yeah.
And I go out with friends, and the guy who's in the Harley Davidson, the fat boy, he can go all day.
Yeah.
And this thing, at the end of about an hour and a half, you've ridden a motorcycle.
So with a shorter rake, it's the tires tucked up more underneath you.
Yeah.
Much more maneuverable, but are you sacrificing on the highway riding stability-wise? Does it shimmy on you when you ride?
No,
or
well,
not so much?
yes and no. No, I've never had a problem. That said, this frame is unique to this bike. Norton, for a lot of years, between about 1948, 49, just post-war, up to the mid-60s, put out what they called the featherbed frame, and it was known as a comfortable bike to ride by British bike standards of the day. When they came out with this bike, actually they had a bunch of guys come over from Rolls-Royce who had an idea that we're going to mount the whole engine transmission assembly separate from the frame of the bike, because one of the complaints about British bikes was always that there was a lot of vibration. And so we could put what they called isolastics, high durometer rubber, between the subframe that is the engine transmission and then the rest of the bike that the rider rides on. And in the marketing literature at the time, they said it's like putting a saddle on a horse when they put the two parts of it together. Makes it a more comfortable ride than a Triumph of similar vintage, but it doesn't have the incredible stability of the featherbed frame either, and it has a known harmonic in the frame. And it's not dangerous, it's not a shimmy, it's not a weave, but somewhere up around 75, 80 miles an hour, you notice, the bike just feels different. As long as you stay ahead of it and plan ahead and think ahead, you're very safe on this bike.
All right, very cool. Well, I'm going to take a look at it real quick.
Sure.
Eric, thanks so much for introducing it.
I'll get my jacket out of the way. You can get the full effect here.
Okay, thanks. All right, guys, we're here with a new friend, Taylor. Taylor, how's it going? Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah, she actually parked right next to me. And as I said, this is the best bike in the whole place, obviously. Just joking. So you've got yourself, what do you got here for your bike?
Ninja 400, 2023.
2023 Ninja 400.
Yep.
Did you buy it? You bought it locally here? Or?
Yep, I got it at right now.
Okay.
I'll never buy brand new ever again. Learn my lesson.
So why is that? What lesson can you share with everyone?
Overpriced.
Oh, okay.
Especially for my first bike, knowing I was going to drop it eventually.
Yeah.
Would never do it again.
Yeah. So how was did you pick up? So this is cool because I have a lot of
Yeah.
people that are like first time riders watch.
Yeah.
So you went, you bought it, you picked it up. Did you drove it
Nope.
away by yourself?
I had
or?
my friend pick it up. He's been riding
Nice.
for like 16 years.
Yeah, I tell a lot of people that because people don't realize Ride Now, as well as a lot of the dealers here, they're right on 35.
35.
and
That's
it's,
one road I don't go on ever.
for a new rider, it's like, nah.
No.
That's good. That was smart to
Nope.
do that.
Yeah.
So he rode it home for you. And then what did you do? Did you do neighborhood riding, or how
No,
did
we
you
would
kind of
go to
step
the
into
Burger
it?
Stadium down
Okay,
south.
yeah.
And he would pick me up on my bike. I would backpack to the parking lot. I only did it like midnight till like 2 a.m. every day because he didn't have a job at the time, and neither did I. So it was dedicated to all riding for like
Oh, cool.
2 months. I think it took me finally. I got on my bike before I took my MSF course, which is probably not ideal, but I think it helped my stress.
Sure. Yeah.
And like the anxiety. So honestly, I would recommend it again. So yeah, just practice every single night. Yeah.
And how many times have you dropped your bike?
Twice. And it's never been riding. I've been sitting and forgot my kickstand was not down. And went to set it down and just.
Well, at least you were going 0 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I dropped mine the very first day I had it.
Yep.
I did a U-turn. For
Front
everyone
brake.
listen to this, do not do a U-turn in neutral. That doesn't work.
Yep.
I went into the curve turn and went to give it gas, and it just went, and I went bam. So
Yep.
marked my helmet up and everything. So so you've been riding for about a year now.
Yep.
And what are your feelings like from the first time to now? How have you progressed? Like,
I thought I was
you're
never
super
gonna
comfortable.
make it out of first gear.
Mm-hmm.
And now I want a 7th and 8th gear. Like, I
And-
want to keep going more.
So are you thinking about maybe getting
Yep.
like trading this and getting a
It's
new
for
bike?
sale.
Oh, is it?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. I
Well,
want a
you can give me you can give me.
ZX6R.
Are you selling it yourself or?
Yeah, on Facebook.
Okay, give me the link. I'll throw it up there.
Cool.
So what are you looking to get?
A ZX6R.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Then
so
I'm done.
so
I'm never
then
touching a 1,000cc bike.
an extra
ever.
200 cc's. Well,
Yep.
I think 600s are very fun when the twisties because they're a little lighter. You can throw them around and they're
For
just
me,
as
it's
quick.
like body positioning. I'd say this year, like upright. I feel like I'm driving a moped.
Yeah.
It's smacked by the wind so much on it.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going that fast, so I guess it's okay. But body positioning, and then yeah, you cannot use speed to get out of any situations. It's really,
Yeah.
really tough on that.
And the
bike.
600s are.
But it is really fun to throw around at the track. I've gone one time now, Dakota, and I'm going to Harris Hill 2 weeks,
Mm-hmm.
and it was really fun to take Dakota.
Very cool.
Yeah, just throw it around. You don't have to get off the throttle at all.
And so the R6 is the handlebars are they're a little bit lower,
Yeah,
right?
they're lowered, but you're more.
Tucked in.
Yeah, you're more tucked.
Yeah.
This you're just like so upright. I don't like it at all.
So you're gonna get a used one.
Yeah. Oh.
So
Yeah,
that's
for
just going
sure.
back to the first lesson you learned. All right, cool.
Yeah, for sure.
All right.
I've already been looking on Facebook, but I just need someone to buy this. But it's very hard parting with your first ever bike.
Yeah, it is. It is.
So that's where
Definitely is. It's nice to have, if you have some extra cash, just to hang on to it. But
Yeah.
not everyone can do
if
it.
I would have bought it used, it'd be a different story. I would have already had it paid off.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
now that I bought it brand new, it's not the case.
yeah. Oh, that's cool. Well, Taylor, thanks a lot for introducing your
course.
bike. That was very cool.
Yes, thank you.
Good to see you.
Have a good one.
All right, guys, that's it. I'm heading home. It's dark. I had fun. If you're in the area, once a month, Moto Social Austin. If you're in another city, Moto Socials are all over the place. Check their website. Thanks for joining me, and I will see you next time. Later.